This video is sponsored by BlockFi, where you can get paid up to 8% on your savings and get paid for buying Bitcoin through the platform and get up to $250 totally for free. Check out BlockFi by going to metkevin.com/BF. Hey everyone, me Kevin here. I think the world is literally going crazy, running around looking for investment opportunities, and I guess they just don't realize that there are such beautiful investment opportunities like NEO at 41 and Tesla at 666. But anyway, let's talk about non-fungible tokens again, because non-fungible tokens, or basically your opportunity to buy digital assets or buy rights to something in a digital form, are kind of exploding. Everyone's talking about them, a lot of people are interested in investing in them, but the value of these creates a lot of cause for concern for me. Now, originally, I've been kind of casting these aside as not something I'm super interested in. But recently, Banksy got into non-fungible tokens. This means now not only have we had video clips from the NBA turned into non-fungible tokens, or basically a digital asset that you can now own the rights to a clip from an NBA game, or tweets are being turned into non-fungible tokens to where you can own the rights to somebody's tweet. We are thinking that potentially songs will get turned into non-fungible tokens, so that way people can own the rights to songs in a digital format and allow the original artist to collect commissions every time somebody in the future resells those rights, kind of like shares of a stock, shares of a company. Some commissions end up going back to the original company every time. Sounds really honestly profitable for the original creators, but anyway. There is no shortage of people trying to tokenize stuff and sell it. People are trying to tokenize real estate, they're tokenizing art, they're tokenizing digital things that don't even exist, but then again, neither does Bitcoin, and after all, the value of Bitcoin seems to be whatever Bitcoin holders think Bitcoin is worth. Anyway, Banksy is now getting into the non-fungible token space. Yes, Banksy, the guy who famously made this painting. Girl with balloon. But not just famously came up with the concept of, or the stencil of a girl with a balloon, but also the bizarre twist that happened at this auction where this authentic girl with balloon painting was auctioned off for $1.4 million at a Sotheby's auction. $1.4 million is what this thing sold for. This guy goes to gavel down the $1.4 million prize. Somebody wins this piece of art. And Banksy being Banksy, back in the old days of Banksy doing normal stuff and not digital token stuff, hires some dude to basically build a digital shredder or some kind of shredder in the piece of art, go to the event, push a button, and artwork somebody just bought, bye-bye, gets shredded in half. Yeah, that's Banksy for you in case you haven't seen that yet. We'll leave it to Banksy because Banksy is now getting into non-fungible tokens. And so what he decided to do was take this painting from 2006, an original painting. There's a YouTube video on this, you can look it up. But there's an original painting called The Moron. And if you zoom into what The Moron says, this is what The Moron says from 2006. I can't believe you morons actually buy this SHI. You get the picture here. Yes, that is The Moron. And so what Banksy decides to do is say, hey, well, if we want to get into the non-fungible token space and we love selling people experiences, why don't we take this actual piece of artwork and just burn it? Because if we burn it, the value of the actual physical art will go into the video or the digital survival of this art, and then let's sell it as a non-fungible token. And sell it they did. After they burned it, they sold this art for $380,000. And now Banksy is officially in the non-fungible token space, along with Logan Paul, basketball stars, people selling tweets like Jack Dorsey, and potentially Square selling non-fungible tokens for music. It's a very bizarre space. And I understand that people are suggesting that, okay, well, here's the thing. With non-fungible tokens, you can display the art. Sure, we can display the art. And the value isn't in that you can display it, because you can display this video, right? You can put this in your hallway on an iPad with a $25 3D printed iPad holder and display the art. I could display the art too. We could all display this YouTube video that we just watched. The street cred apparently from these non-fungible tokens comes from the right to be able to say, well, I actually own the digital rights to it. In fact, I can scan a QR code with the address of this product, and I can always go, Kevin owns that piece of art. That's cool. I wonder where he displays it. He could display it anywhere he wants because it's his digital token. He could take out his phone and go, here's my Banksy that I own. Here's my Picasso that I own. And they could just be digital representations, essentially. But because blockchain technology always tells the world who owns it, somehow this bestows value on it. And the value comes from somebody being willing to pay me more money to be able to have the ownership of this digital art, and in this case, this experience. Personally, I find this kind of ludicrous. I have to say it, I find it a little ludicrous. Now, don't get me wrong. I know people are going to invest in these, and I don't want to sound like a boomer, but I've got two big problems. Number one, future liquidity. If there's a market crisis and I gotta liquidate my Banksy for even what I paid for, $350,000, and we're in the middle of a real deep doo-doo market crisis, well, how fast am I gonna be able to resell this? See, usually value comes from how much hype there is around something. The more hype there is around a certain stock, like Sundial, the more valuable it is because more people want it, because more people are thinking about it. Well, when somebody plays, when somebody sells a clip of a basketball game from 2021, that might be exciting in 2021. But when I sit down with friends or family over beer or whatever and say something like, hey, let me tell you about this experience I had in 2014 about how Germany scored 7-1 versus Brazil in the semifinals of the World Cup, which is like crazy and unheard of, the experience kind of begins to fade. Even though it's recorded and it's on YouTube, like somebody watching it now is not going to share the same passion of me at the event. I don't think somebody buying a sports clip from 2021 and 2031 is going to all of a sudden be so much more enthused than we are today. I don't think this Banksy could potentially be worth more in the future. Even if Banksy becomes more popular, it just seems like peak hype is around the fact that, okay, cool, this was the first NFT he did. It's the first NFT that he burned, or his first real art that he burned and turned into a digital token, essentially. That's great, but if somebody wants to pay me more for this in the future, I feel like A, they're gonna have more choice. B, how do I know that they're going to be there when I need them, a la market crash? And C, what if nobody ends up wanting to buy this? What if Banksy does 200 more of these? Sure, I'll always have this unique, dated experience. I'll always have this experience from whenever this was filmed. What was this, March 5th or something like that when they uploaded this? March 3rd, 2021. Great. But it seems to me like the future value and the current liquidity of non-fungible tokens is a disaster waiting to happen for a lot of folks. And it wouldn't surprise me if non-fungible tokens take out 95% of the value in non-fungible tokens that are created. In other words, I wouldn't be surprised if 95% of NFTs go to zero. And there'll be a few winners. The big, really popular winners will be there. Now, I get the idea of people saying, hey, well, and this is different. I get the idea of people saying, hey, well, let's say you buy a Meet Kevin non-fungible token, and with that non-fungible token, you get to talk to Kevin for 30 minutes, let's say, on the phone or whatever, right? And somebody pays, I don't know, $500 for it, let's say. Okay, great, but the future buyer isn't going to get the benefit of the phone call unless I want to keep doing the phone calls, in which case I'm really just selling the phone call potentially. If I don't do the phone call, then the underlying value would probably be in hyper publicity, right? Oh, it's the first one. Oh, that's great. But say I make $500 and I don't have to do a phone call, and then I do 500 more of them, at some point, who's going to care about the original one? Oh, but it was the first one. I have serious concerns about these. I have serious concerns about liquidity and future valuation. And I get that it's cool to show off collectibles, but look, unless you play RuneScape, you don't care how many party hats I have. Unless you play Rust, you don't care how many AKs I have. Unless you play World of Warcraft, you don't care that my eye level is over 200. You don't care. That's a concern to me. Now, I know, Matt, maybe, well, fine, Kevin, your market's just smaller. You should be selling your NFTs to, in that example, RuneScape players. Fine. Fine, maybe RuneScape will be more popular in the future. But wouldn't there be other people also selling these? And during a market crash, how do I know people would actually want to fork over real cash for them in the future? Serious concerns for NFTs. I think it's fascinating that Banksy is getting into this because I respect Banksy, whoever the heck he is. But wow, NFTs, crazy.